Hello and welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to continue with the boiler band lugs for 82045. We made quite a bit of progress last time, you've probably seen. We did the profiling on the shaping machine. That was the first time I'd done some profiling on the shaper, and I was quite pleased how it turned out. Today what we're going to do is we're going to finish that profile off with a file, with a hand file. Well, it's actually going to be the flat file we're going to use. And we're going to do it in the vise, obviously, and I'll show you the techniques for producing that. We're also going to be looking at making the dies or the forms to bend these pieces here that we made previously. Yeah, got to get a nice curve on them. So we need to do some work on the dies. We'll get some metal out. We'll get a piece of metal out, we'll put it in the hacksaw and we'll cut through it, and then we'll transfer it to the planer and we'll plane top and bottom sides or faces as datum, and then we'll look at doing the profile, and we'll do the profile on the shaper just like we did with the lugs. But anyway, hope you enjoy the video. And I'm just going to use my flat file. In fact, let's bring that round in the vise a little bit more easier. Blend it in nice. Looks pretty good. Keep moving it round until we get it looking something like. That's coming. You can see we've done quite a bit there. We're sort of halfway now. And it's just that rocking motion with the file that we're after to give us the radius. It's just blending out now, looking quite nice. Just while we're doing the profile on this, on these 8 blocks for the lugs, we need to get a piece of steel out for the profile of the boiler so we can bend these parts to the correct sort of radius. Now if you look at the boiler, I haven't got the book here with me, but if you remember the photograph in the boiler, or of the boiler, on the loco, it's tapered. It's tapered. I think it's an oblique cone. But it's tapered, so the diameter changes slightly on every one of the bands. That's not a problem, because all we'll do, we'll bend them all roughly to the same sort of radius, and then we'll just tweak them when we get on site, when we come to fit them. it won't be a problem. We're used to doing things like that. So I'm going to go into the front shed and see if I can find a piece of steel. And I remember in the early days when we were doing some work on the planer, we had some long pieces of bar. Well, I'm going to get a piece of that. I could use this 2-inch square bright drawn mile steel here, but I don't want to cut that up. That other stuff that we got is flame cut, remember, so we could dress it up easily on the shaper, cut a piece off, clean it up on the shaper, and we can do the profile just like we did with these 8-off lugs. I'm going to go in the shed and see what I can find. Alright, I've been in the shed and I found that one of these pieces of steel, and I've got it out and I've got it on top of the planer. I'll just show you. There you go. You've seen these before in some of the earlier videos. I was just looking at how I'm going to do this, what I need to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece off about 12 inches long. And then I'm going to plane the two sides, that side and that side, just to give us a nice smooth edge. And then what we'll do, we'll cut it in half. So I'll have two pieces 6 inches long. One will have a concave curve in it, and one will have a convex curve in it. So it'll be a top and bottom die. Okay, so we've got a bit of planing work to do. We're going to use a planer for what it was designed for, big pieces of material. Alright, and then we can press these out. I think it's 6 inches long. It's important, that is, because what we're going to do when I weld the two lugs on, there's a nominal spacer between them, which is 1.5 inches. You can just give me 2 seconds, I'll get you the drawing and show you. Okay, here we are. We've got the drawing there, look here. I'm going to come so I can see it. Apologies for it moving. Alright, between the two lugs, there's 1.5 inch gap. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 1.5 inch spacer. We're going to use that to set both lugs vertical. We're going to clamp it together, ready for weld when we do the welding. And then the curved die, these will be clamped onto the die to hold them in the right relevant position. And then we'll do the tacking and the welding. I think that's the best way of doing it. So we've got to make a spacer as well, and we've got to make them bolts, of course. The nuts are off the shelf, we can get them, no problem. We'll have to make the bolts, and what we'll have to do with the bolt is we'll have to get some round bar, turn it down, screw cut it, and then we'll have to cut the hexagon head. Pretty straightforward job, really. But anyway, let me get back to filing the profile on the 8 lugs. Question for you. On a file, this is a flat file. See, the tape is about a third of the way. And in the old days, they used to taper that way as well. You used to get what was known as a boss. Yeah? And that boss was for taking the high spots off. Very rare when you see that on a flat file these days. And these flat files used to be sharp. In fact, any file you could resharpen them. There were companies that specialised in it. But anyway, what I want to ask you is, what is the rough side of the file, or the rough edge of the file for? Yeah? A flat file's got two really coarse rough edges, single cut edge. What is it for? On a hand or a parallel file, hand file, you've got a safe edge, you've got nothing on one side, but you've got that rough edge on the other side. What's it for? If you stay watching, I'll tell you a little bit, I'll show you what it's for as well. It's really important, but not many people know about it. Now you can see it's coming nicely now. We've got this part here to do, so I need to move it around in the vise. There you go. Felt not a bit too much, that is. What about there? nice, that, isn't it? Imagine if you worked in a tool room making dies and fixtures and all kinds of things. You might have to do this type of stuff quite frequently. Certainly in the old days. Nowadays a lot of the stuff would be done with CNC type stuff, machines, which negates the need for a lot of the hand skills. But they're still needed in some places. What I'm looking for when I'm filing as well, I'm looking for the shaped line to be parallel. That way I know that I'm taking it off even and we're not running one way or the other way. That looks alright, that does. Ready to move it around a touch more now. I've just turned it around now. How does that look to you? It's coming on, isn't it? It's not looking bad now. Alright. Alright, there we are. That's the finished lugs. Got our profile. Okay. That looks pretty good, I think. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, that's quite nice, that will. Right, I can strip this down now. I can do the deburring on it, and then them parts are finished, ready for welding on. So now we can turn our attention to that block of steel that we've got on the planer, and I'll show you what that rough edge is on the file. Let's get the piece of plate over. Alright, I've just put our bar in the vise here. Let me show you. There you go. And you can see this is really rough. This is flame cut here, so it's going to be... Now you can see some bits of scale just come off then. But it's going to be nasty scaly, and there's going to be hard bits here. What we don't want to do is to damage... Certainly I don't want to damage my hacksaw blade cutting through this. So the rough edge on the file. The rough edge on the file was to remove the hard scale on your piece of steel. This type of stuff, or the rusty stuff here. You get some hot roll bar. It was designed to remove the hard scale. So you rough it off with the edge. Just rough it off any old dowel like this. So you didn't damage the actual edges or the cutting faces. You use this to rough this hard scale off, get underneath the scale so you could start using the proper faces. Okay. Nowadays you just get your angle grinder and just whiz that off. It doesn't take much to clean that off. And it's not a bad idea. You shouldn't really put stuff like this in the machine. I know these modern cutters and that, you know, these facing mills and things like that with the indexable tips, you'll cut straight through that, no problem. But if you get the chance, the opportunity to use the angle grinder, clean it off, do that. I don't use it in here that much, the angle grinder, because it makes a mess everywhere and I don't want the mess everywhere. So I prefer just to use my old file. See the bits of scale coming off. Right. Two pieces 6 inches long, so we're going to make our first cut. We're going to cut this in half, which is 12 inches. So we're about there, aren't we? Just gets underneath that flame cut surface. A little bit more there. And that's good enough. That gives it a start for the hacksaw blade. Where's my rule? Here it is. See, 12 inches. That's okay. It's not quite 2 foot long. Alright, we've got the work in the power hacksaw. This definitely is the biggest piece I've ever had in here, and you wouldn't get anything bigger in here. The power hacksaw only opens up to just over 2 inches wide, and it's just about 3 inches deep. So we got this piece 2x3. I'll just show you. There you go. It's quite a big lump. We got a 12 inch to there. Alright, let's get it going then. It really is on the limit now. Oh, let's start it up. Alright. Well, we just let it do its thing now. Okay, whilst the power hacksaw is doing its thing with that large piece of steel, I've cleaned all these pieces up here now, and I've just put them on the bench here just to show you what it's going to look like. Looks pretty good so far, I think. You know, it gives you a bit better shot, I think, from that angle. But you can see they look pretty good now. As I said, there's going to be a fillet weld in there, and there's going to be a V-butt weld in the bottom. And this is going to be the spacer, the 1.5 inch wide spacer that goes between them, to hold everything in the correct place when we do the welding. Because these will be clamped on the convex die block that we're going to make. I'm going to go over to the lathe now. I'm going to drill this out for 1/2 inch and face it off to length. Where I've got the piece of steel here we've just cut off on the power saw. And it's a big lump. You can see it's about 3x2, thereabouts. I'm going to put it in the vise. So I want to clean all this slag and dross off it before we put it on the plane of bed. We don't want anything interfering with this sitting down true on the bed. So I'm going to put it in the vise and file it all off. But I'm just going to show you one little thing. This is quite heavy. To try and hold this, keeping in the vise in the right position is difficult. So the easiest thing to do, I'll just show you. Just put yourself a block of steel in the throat here of the vise. So you've got something to sit the work on, and you haven't got to try and hold it. See? Right. I'll get the flat file out. We'll use a rough edge, don't forget, to shift all this dross and crap. I'll do that when I've done that, because you've seen me do it before. When I've done all that and it's ready to go on the planer, I'll let you know. Alright, so I'm over by the planer. You can see the planer machine here, and I've got the block of steel clamped to the bed using our trusty wedges. And I've just been checking to see how square it's standing. It's not too bad. It's not brilliant, but it's not too bad. What you got to remember with flame cut hot roll plate, it's not square, it's not parallel, it's not flat. Don't ever assume it is. You will need to machine it if you want to get it flat, square and parallel. There'll be no choice. But I've just been checking. I wanted to see how good our wedges were, and it's pretty good actually. They're pushing the thing hard up against the block, the stock block. I'll just bring you a little bit closer, show you from the front so you can see. I think you can see there, you can see the square. It's not bad, is it? I can say the surface isn't flat anyway, but that's not bad at all. And we're just relying on these wedges in here. I've got 3 in there. We've got our trusty stop at the front and our trusty block on the side. You might be thinking, why didn't you put some deep wedges in? Make sure it's clamped up properly. Well, the deeper the wedges, the greater the leverage acting against you. And a big wedge can put some phenomenal force on a component, and it's transferred through to the bed. This bed here is cast iron. What we don't want to do is snap it straight down the middle, because we've got that much force pushing the 2 halves apart like that. Yeah. So I've got to be careful, I don't want to overdo it. Anyway, we're going to touch off now, we're going to get going. Alright, I've touched off and I've put a cut on 1 full turn, so it's about a 1/16 of an inch, don't forget. What's interesting is, I'm just telling you about flame cut blanks, hot roll plate not being square. Well, this flame cut blank is high at the back here, and I've checked to make sure it is sitting down. It's not standing up or anything like that at the back, but it will cut at the back first. So don't go thinking there's anything wrong with it. It's just, it's not parallel, this face. But we knew about that. Right, I'm going to get it going. It'll start taking the cut straight away. Just watch for the back. See? I'll just start now, second pass now. Seems to be going okay so far. So this will be about 1/8 of an inch that we've taken off when this cut's finished. Well, whilst the planer is doing its thing, I just thought I would start turning down the bolts. I'm just roughing them down now to the 1/2 inch diameter. I've got a centre in the end to support the bar. When we finish doing turning the threads, we'll actually face it off to length to get rid of the centre. Want to show you something. We've talked recently about how accurate the tailstock is in alignment with me headstock. This is a rough cut, not a finishing cut. So what does that say there? 0.578. So it's 0.578. I don't know if you can you see that there? I don't know if you can see that, 0.578. That's just... Yeah. 0.578. So it's the same. Can you see? So it's parallel, 0.578. Right, we need this down to 0.5, so you've got 78 thousandths come off. We'll continue turning this down. In fact, we'll take 25, I think. Right. While it's doing that, I'm just going to start the planer on its third pass. See the smoke off the cooking oil on the lathe in the sunlight and just coming in through the window. It's quite atmospheric. That's the third pass on the planer now. So that's taken off about 3/16 of an inch so far. It's just starting to clean up on the end here. We'll take another pass just to make sure we get underneath that hard crust. Okay, this should be the finishing pass now. Alright, let's finish that final pass. Let's just have a check, see where we are. There we go, we're 1 under. 1,000's under. I don't know if you can see that. I'm happy with that. Okay. What I'll do is I'll turn all 4 to this stage here, and then we'll set up the screw cutting and we'll do all the screw cutting together. Nearly finish that third pass now. Alright, I've just finished that third pass on the planer. Taking about 3/16 off so far. It's cleaned up all the way along. Quite pleased with that. We'll just leave that as it is now. We'll turn that over and we'll do the bottom side or bottom face. Yeah, it's done quite well, that. Excellent. Right. Don't know if you can see very clear there, but that finish is pretty good. That's that first face we've just planed on the planer. I've just took the burrs off. We're going to put that back on the planer now. We're going to do the other side or the bottom. Get that finished.